What's up, folks? Welcome to the second installment of my Training Away series. Trying to stay fit while I'm away from home, and of course that means being a bit flexible with how we're training. How about you? What are your favorite workouts and exercises to do while you're on the road? Drop us a comment. I'm always keen to get inspiration and new ideas. So today's session is going to be a leg day. So I decided to keep it super simple here, working up to one heavy set of squats, one heavy set of deadlifts, and then one set of the ROM split squat. So started off with some nice warm-ups to get the feeling of the Zercher squat again. So I'm actually working out in a hotel gym here, and it's pretty nice actually. It has a barbell, it has some dumbbells, but there's no rack for squatting. This is a situation where the Zercher squat comes in very, very handy because without a rack, so you can just set up the barbell on the ground, deadlift it to get it above your knees, and then squat down and rack it up. And it lets you do heavy squats without a rack and without a spotter. So it's pretty fantastic. So we're finally ready for the working set here. So I was pretty happy with how these felt in the end. I do notice that my butt goes up a little bit first, and then I kind of end with a bit of a hinge. Ideally, I think I prefer to see more quad activation in this so that the knees and the hips are kind of going up at the same time. But also that probably just reflects my level of strength right now. I'm probably stronger in the hips than I am in the quads. So we'll see how this progresses over time. But all in all, I was very happy with my depth. With Zercher squat, it's amazing because I can sort of do them as like paused squats. In the bottom, I can rest it on my knees in a really deep position, take a breath, and then I can re-brace before going up again. But you'll notice that compared to almost all my previous videos, I'm not doing a full high intensity here. I'm not training to failure. And the reason for this is simple, that I'm new to leg days. I haven't really trained my legs seriously in over 2 years because I took a break off in order to pursue some climbing goals where putting more energy into getting heavier legs was just not the move. But now I'm interested in training my legs again. And so like with anything in high intensity training, I really like to take several sessions in order to gradually build up the intensity, because if your body isn't used to a given movement, anything is going to be higher intensity than what it's used to. So it's only after probably a month or so that I'll start really, really pushing it to the limit. But here I'm probably leaving maybe 1 rep or so in reserve, but it's tough to tell because I'm not actually going to failure.
This feels so good, but the grip is very bizarre. It really bends me forward and forces me to fight with my back, which is so good. But it means you have to use lighter weight than you would on the back squat.
So the full workout here was 3 warm-up sets of squats, working up to 1 heavy set, then 1 warm-up set of the Romanian deadlifts, working up to 1 heavy set, and then directly into a heavy set of the range of motion split squat. So we're just keeping it simple and potent here. The whole thing took just under 40 minutes. Next up here is the deadlifts, and these I actually haven't touched in about 3 months. I was working on the Romanian deadlift for a while, and I eventually got to the point where I felt like my back was the weak link, and I didn't want that to be the case. So I ended up tabling the Romanian deadlift from my program for a while and replacing it with the Jefferson curl. And so I've been strictly working on Jefferson curls in order to improve my back strength and mobility. And that's been going fantastic, and I've made tons of videos about the Jefferson curl. I absolutely love it. I was interested to see where I'd be touching this movement again after 3 months without practicing. And here in this set, I was able to do 120 kilos, which was just 4 kilos off of my working sets 3 months ago. And the ones I had at home, I'm using straps. So on this one, I'm using the mixed grip. And it actually felt very, very good. I think I got 10, maybe 11 reps here. Not sure exactly. But yeah, it felt pretty amazing. And I was just very happy to be performing at a similar level without having touched the movement at all. I think that's always a really good indicator that your training is paying off. If you're doing something that's not specifically that thing and you're either maintaining or even gaining strength, that's fantastic. This last one here is especially dastardly. It's called the ROM split squat, so the range of motion split squat. And I first heard about this from Devin Kelly, who's a guy I follow on Instagram. And essentially, it's a Bulgarian split squat, but you elevate both the front and the rear leg in order to allow you to get the biggest range of motion possible for you. So typically a Bulgarian split squat would be the rear leg elevated like this, but the front leg on the ground. So usually you're not able to squat to deeper than like 90 degrees or so. So with this one, I can really squeeze my hamstrings into my calves and use my max range of motion because the knee can just go into empty space. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky on the balance. As you can see, I eat shit there. But overall, I think it's fantastic because it gives you such a good stretch and such a huge range of motion. And it's just not so heavy on the back either. So I like this one as a finishing exercise after you've already tired the legs out doing some heavier back squats. As you can see, I am totally worked after this one and limping to the camera to say goodbye.
Well, quick leg day, absolutely crushed it. Time to go rinse off.